Okay, so I get it. This is a big deal. There are 3 new guys on PTOs for the New Jersey Devils, but sorry, Mr. Jankowski, sorry, Wotherspoon, I'm kind of only really going to focus on one of these guys here today. So, the New Jersey Devils have signed 3 players to PTOs, professional tryout contracts. If you don't know what that means, pretty much these guys are going to be invited over to training camp. They're going to be sticking around with the team, doing the things that the team does. They're not officially on the team, but if they impress, if they do well at training camp, they will get the opportunity to sign a full-time, actual contract with the organization by the time the NHL season starts. It says here at the bottom, players attending camp on PTOs are unsigned veteran players who are looking to earn a contract with the club heading into the next season, and these 3 names are the newest names in the New Jersey Devils organization in that respect. Jimmy Vesey, Mark Jankowski, and Tyler Wotherspoon. Now, I guess we'll get the 2 other guys out of the way before we go into the main meat and potatoes of this video over here, which is indeed this lovely fellow over here in the picture. But you take a look at Mark Jankowski. He played with the Penguins last season. He had himself 7 assists, 4 goals for a total of 11 points in 45 games played. Formerly of the Calgary Flames, he also played for the Penguins in the playoff run this season. We had ourselves Wotherspoon, who is a left-shot defenseman who had been a staple with the Stockton Heat, the San Antonio Rampage, and the Lehigh Valley Phantoms in the AHL. He also had himself a few NHL games, 30 NHL games over 4 seasons as well, all with Calgary. So these 2 guys heading over to New Jersey on PTOs, they're going to be interesting to follow. But the big name here is Jimmy Vesey, who is a former Vancouver Canuck. And after I pulled up his profile over here on Elite Prospects just to take a look at the entire statistical profile that Vesey does present, I saw he played 20 games with Vancouver last season. And I was like, whoa, this guy played 20 games? Are you kidding me? It felt like such a short amount of time that I didn't even remember the big bulk of opportunity that Jimmy Vesey had with the Vancouver Canucks. Now, if you don't know the story over here, Vesey was drafted initially by the Nashville Predators back in 2012. He was born in 1993, 28. He's a 6'3", 198 winger, so he's a big guy who had himself a pretty interesting profile back in the EJHL when he was drafted as one of the best players in that league in that time frame. However, he went to Harvard and then became one of the best hockey players over there, had 46 points in 33 games played in his senior year, and had 58 points in 37 games in his junior season. He was so good as a junior that he played for Team USA at the regular World Championships. You see all this stuff that he did for 4 years in Harvard, 2012 to 2016, and you're like, okay, how good was he in the eyes of the media? Well, take a look at all the gosh darn awards that Jimmy Vesey won in this time frame. In his senior year, take a look at this. First All-Star Team, Player of the Year Award, Most Valuable Player of the Year Award. He made the Ivy League All-Star Team. He made himself the Player of the Year Award for the Ivy League as well. He had so many gosh darn awards. He was a Hobey Baker finalist, a Hobey Baker winner. I don't know why they have them listed as 2 separate events here. I mean, if you're the winner of the Hobey Baker, you should probably be a finalist, right? So I don't know why this is listed over here. But he was an absolute game-changing prospect for the Nashville Predators in this time frame, which is why it was a really big deal when, in 2015, after Jimmy Vesey finished up his 4 years at Harvard, he did not sign with Nashville. He became a free agent, and everybody was like, oh my goodness, this guy's on the market. He's one of the best hockey players out there, not in the NHL. And I remember all the hype that we had about him. We were talking about him as a potential Calder candidate, alongside of the guys who were drafted in the previous season. So Austin Matthews and Patrick Laine. Sorry, did I say 2015 earlier? No, I meant 2016. He had himself a summer for the ages when teams were going out there bidding on this guy. Eventually he signed in New York, because of course he did, it's New York. Plus he is from the Boston area, which kind of makes things a little bit more difficult. But either way, he went to the Rangers, was not as good as the Austin Matthewses and the Patrick Laines back in that time frame, but still was a capable NHL player. As the years went on with New York, he had himself 35 points in 81 games as a max season, then went over to Buffalo. 20 points, 64 games played over there. We know the Sabres aren't really too good, so he was over there as a pretty capable player on a bad team. Not too shabby, isn't it? Eventually, he went over to Toronto where he had 7 points in 30 games played. A lot of Leafs fans were saying back in this time frame, oh, if we could try to revitalize Jimmy Vesey, we could go out there, give this guy a role. He can be a good player again, and he might be able to rekindle the success that he had in New York, or maybe even get back to that status that he had with Harvard, where he was one of the best hockey players in the world, not playing in the NHL in that time frame, according to a lot of hockey fans, armchair general managers who were too busy making this guy in their NHL video games and giving him elite potential, because of course that's what we all did back in the day. Either way, he went over to Toronto, was not fantastic, was sent down on waivers and picked up by the Vancouver Canucks, where in 20 games played he had 3 points. Now, it's not really for a lack of opportunity either, because Jimmy Vesey, I remember this very well, because, it was only earlier this year, it's not really a long time ago, Jimmy Vesey was given top power play time. They started him out, Travis Green did, on the first power play with, Pettersson and Hughes and all of them. They gave him this opportunity. He didn't really do much with it. There were so many moments watching Jimmy Vesey in a Vancouver Canucks sweater where he had the puck, he had a really good opportunity to make a fancy move or make a dangle, and he would do it, but eventually he'd just lose the puck and they would go the other way. He had himself really good skills that, honestly, you would see him do it and you're like, okay, wow, he's got this potential, he's got this capability of doing things. But when it came to execution in the crucial moments, he just completely flubbed it. And there were so many moments watching this guy in the offensive zone as a Canuck where I was disappointed in what the play would turn out to be. We'd watch him enter the zone with speed. We'd watch him deke to the outside, or we'd see him stop, try to make a pass over to a winger on the other side. And he'd miss. He'd do so many plays where it's like, man, your head was kind of in the right place, but the execution, man. And it's not even like he's all too untalented either. He's a big guy, as we noted, 6'3", 198. He was really skilled in the NCAA. He had those silky mitts, and he had that scoring touch as well. That just completely disappeared with the Vancouver Canucks. I don't know if it's a combination of him being just super unlucky or him completely deteriorating mentally in terms of the way he processes the game when he is in the Vancouver sweater compared to the others, but man, Jimmy Vesey in Vancouver was a failed experiment if I've ever seen a failed experiment. Now, it doesn't really matter for Vancouver because it was a free player. I picked him up on waivers. He helped us out when the team was super injured with everything that was going on with that team, because that team just could not stay healthy, the 2021 Vancouver Canucks. But I was super disappointed with how Jimmy Vesey was playing, and I was like, man, is this really the guy that we were all getting so hyped about back in 2015-16 when he refused to sign with the Predators and he wanted to go to New York? Is this really that guy? You take a look at the Vancouver Canucks and their organizational makeup right here from 2020-2021. Jimmy Vesey, man, he had 3 points. Travis Boyd had 2 goals, 2 points. But honestly, Travis Boyd felt a lot more effective than Jimmy Vesey did. That's just my personal opinion over here. Travis Boyd, watching this guy as another Toronto Maple Leafs, Vancouver Canucks waiver wire pickup, I felt a lot more confident in Travis Boyd's game because he was really capable two-way. He was good defensively as well. Jimmy Vesey didn't really have those same qualities. There weren't really too many good defensive standout moments from Jimmy Vesey and how he played with Vancouver, at least that I remember. If anybody wants to correct me in the comments, then feel free to go ahead and do that. But either way, Jimmy Vesey is heading over to New Jersey now on a PTO, so he doesn't even have a contract yet. He's just going to be heading over there as a guy who's going to be looking to get a contract. And it's just so strange to me how the fall from grace really does come into play here. A third-round guy by Nashville. He goes to Harvard. He's fantastic. He lights the world on fire. Everybody wants to get this guy. Eventually, he's a solid middle six NHL contributor points-wise. Then he goes over to Buffalo, then Toronto, then Vancouver, and now New Jersey on the PTO. He goes from top NHL prospect to meddling middle six capable NHL player to a bottom six guy to a PTO. Man, talk about a fall from grace over here. I hope that Jimmy Vesey is able to go out there and actually, make a good NHL career for himself, because he's a good guy, I think. He defected from the team that drafted him to go to the team that he wanted to sign for, but either way, that was his right. He's 28 years old now, which is crazy to me, because back when we were all super hyped up about this guy, it felt like he was a young guy breaking into the league because he was in the same rookie class as Matthews and Laine, so we all kind of had that same association of youth with this player. But no, he's 28 now. Dude, he is technically a veteran at this point in time. That is nuts. Absolutely nuts. Talk to me in the comments, though, if you're a Devils fan. What do you think about Jimmy Vesey heading over to your squad, as well as, I guess, Wotherspoon and Jankowski as well? Canucks fans, talk to me in the comments. What did you think about Vesey and the way that he played over here? I was not particularly impressed, but if you were, then please tell me in the comment section why. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.